My hair is just doing Marge Simpson today. Shut the fuck up. That's what black people hair does. I woke up. I'm not gonna put on a headscarf. I'm not gonna put on a hoodie. You're just gonna have to deal with the fact that some people wake up looking different than others. Don't worry, because if I take a shower and do a little bit of picking out my hair, I'm gonna look like Pam Grier all over again. So don't worry about it. Alright, another sex based video. Sometimes people don't like their first time, and that's okay. Nothing's wrong with that whatsoever. If you have sex, like, I don't know, if you're watching this and you're a virgin, or if you've ever been a virgin and you're like, my first time wasn't the greatest, it's okay. Some people don't. I'm someone who has had sex with a lot of virgins. Some people might be like, hey, to me, yeah, do you have a fetish for that? That's a complex question. More like, if I have the opportunity to give someone a safe experience for a first time and make them feel like welcomed and loved in a non-traumatizing way, I would love that, because sadly I have met people who have had traumatizing first times of having sex or have been sexually abused by people, and then it really, really fucks them up and gets in their head for the rest of their life, and that's not what they deserve. Hell, technically I count as one of that, but let's just say, even for my first time, I specifically told myself, I'm just gonna go ahead and fuck this one idiot and like let him pop it, because you know what? I'm tired of having a hymen. I want to see what happens when this thing gets busted wide open, and then I can just finally like start doing sex work or have sex with other people if I want to, and stop like tripping over any other dude that I've been with before him, because yeah, I'd rather just like a clean slate for me. And then yeah, I lost it in the worst fucking way possible. Fucking writing it. Cause I got on top of him and my hymen was like less than a thimble actually. Like hardly anything could fit in that thing. I couldn't even use tampons, it hurt so bad. And he had a big fucking light bulb shaped dick. It was thick. And so let's just say I tried to ease down gently on it, and the nigga just looked me dead in the face like, grabbed my hips and slammed me down on it as hard as he fucking could. And I convulsed so hard that I accidentally did the hey gal face. If you are not an anime nerd or a pervert and you don't know what a hey gal face is, I'll just say the words Belle Delphine and you'll get what I mean. And then he glared at me, which embarrassed me further, and yeah, and that sucked. And also, whatever. It was one of those things where I remember having sex and I was like, this is it. This is what people die over. This is what has started wars before. People have started wars in the name of sex. People have ruined relationships in the name of sex, and this is all that sex is, the sensation of something going in and out, in and out. It's not even that good. But as he did it more, like doggy style and stuff, in his car, on his car, a lot of wild shit happened. It was just like, I thought to myself, this is sort of good, sort of eh. I probably could have gone the rest of my life without having it, but I guess now that I had it, I don't have to obsess over it anymore because it's not that big of a deal. And yeah. And I remember the dude I was with was even just kind of shook. He was like, okay, she, has zero interest in me. I thought she'd be obsessed with me after I gave her this long fucking dick, and the whole time I'm just like, this is just some dude I already found annoying beforehand and liked before, but now that we've had sex, he's not worth it to me. It did something weird to his brain where he suddenly started having feelings for me because I wasn't interested in him, even though he was my first time. It actually lessened my interest. He was a strange man. Yeah. So that's just like me pre-gaming this by just giving that as an example. My first time was just with some dude I called Crackhead John. And if you're wondering why is his name Crackhead John, because he was a white dude who had the temperament of someone who does like crack cocaine. Also on the very first date he told me about the time he did cocaine in a bowling alley. The first date was wild. We made out on top of a table. It's Let's talk about that some other day though. Let's stay on topic. Anyway, yeah, he had the temperament of someone you would see screaming in the streets like a psychopath. He was pretty cute, though. Kinda. I don't know. There's not much to say other than I was like 17. He was, I forget if he was 19 or 20. That's definitely statutory. Don't do that. And he was tall and had nice lips and cute cheeks. And my standards are low. Let's just say my standards are low. So I was just like, what's another drop in a bucket of pieces of shit that I could be with sexually? It was the mindset of anything that gets me out the house or could be a distraction because of my fucked up home life, fucked up school life, fucked up everything life back then. Don't worry, I'm in a much better position now. Ah, yeah. Now I even forget about that man entirely, and I think that's also kind of beautiful. You can have sex with someone for your first time, and it'll seem like the end of the world when you break up or whatever. But then you can entirely forget about them and move on totally fine. Anyway, I was just gonna say I find it amusing that sometimes I'll like I do I want to count how many times I've taken someone's virginity. So Zach, Patrick number two, Juan Carlos, fucking Ian. I hate Ian. Ian needs to die. Actually, that's too many people to count, and also some of these people I'd like to forget. So let's say somewhere between 8, maybe 16 at maximum people I have probably been the first time of. Probably more so leading to 8 people. But guess what? I had a blast with them. Or, like, it's kind of funny because it's usually one of two reactions. Someone could be like, ooh, I'm excited to have sex. I'm excited to have sex. And then the second they slide in, they'll just kind of be like, my perspective is like, I'll just be under them and they'll be like, okay, I'm putting it in. Oh, hmm, hmm, okay. That's it? Oh, well, when I move, it feels a little better, but that's it. And I'll be like, yeah, that's kind of that's the gist of it. Yeah, there's a like, you don't have to just stare at me. You could touch things and taste things. It's like, but then they'll still have the generic reaction of this is okay. Like they had the same reaction I felt when I had my first time of this is what people have obsessed over. This is what's been corrupting people in movies and our children and our youth. And then they usually have like a philosophical epiphany as they're hitting it. Sometimes they'll say that shit out loud too. Like, why the fuck do people care about this so much? It's just this. And then I'll do the grippy thing and they'll be like, okay, hey, do that again. And then the inverse is the dudes who they get so happy because sex will just be everything they expected or better. Like I remember with this guy Juan Carlos, I remember it was in his car. I was on top of him. He just was like endlessly like yelling and screaming and moaning and coming. He was like, "Holy fucking shit! Oh my god! Yes, yes!" And then when we got done, he said that was even better than anything I've ever expected it to be. Like, holy fucking shit. And then it became something that he would obsess about and want all the time, 24/7, because it was that good. I just think it's such, like, I don't know, I just find it amusing. It's such a coin flip between, like, this is the best thing in the fucking world. I would kill to have sex again, just like this. All the millions of ways I can have sex, I need it, want it, breathe it. And then the other hand is like, I mean, I'd rather be reading like Marxist theory, but like it's not bad. It's just like, But on the bright side, like the funny thing is, anytime I have had sex with a dude and his reaction was the first one, they usually, it'll be like, it feels weird, but they don't want to stop it either. It's just that like amusing thing of like, this feels strange. Pussy does not feel like how I thought it would feel. Very different. Very weird. But I don't want to end it. And then they'll come and they'll be like, that was nice. Yeah, that was nice. And then next thing you know, then they quickly become the latter where they're just like, okay, you know what? I came. That was unique, but fun. And then they want to try it again. And then next thing you know, they quickly become the latter of, holy shit, I want to breathe everything sex. I will risk my life to have sex. I will let this girl do fucked up things to me and everyone I care about if it means I can have sex with her. So, like, the first time doesn't always have to be good. The first time you will be just thinking, wow, why does sex sell so much? We like the idea of sex more than we actually like sex. Sex is not nearly as great as we think it is. Like, yeah, I remember I didn't like having sex the very first time I had it, and then anytime after that, it was like, this is kind of something I can sit through, sure. Like, it's not the greatest, but it's alright. It's kind of overwhelming but cool. And then next thing you know, it'll just kind of hit you out of nowhere. Like next thing you know, the third time you have sex, it could be with someone you really, really like, and they're like you're trying out fun positions, you're doing new moves, like you found new angles, you found different speeds, or you just really like the person, and that's what really makes it. And then next thing you know, you'll just unlock your inner freak and get all freaked out and shit. And I just think that's kind of wholesome. So I don't know. I guess I made this video just to be like, hey, if you're someone who like has had their first time or whatever and it didn't come out perfect, don't worry, it doesn't have to be. And it doesn't mean that any other experience you have will be fucking awful. Just like, I guess it doesn't hurt to like be aware of what you want in bed, and don't be afraid to try new things as long as it's stuff that you truly are comfortable with and attracted to. And yeah, like it's so sometimes you'll have sex and it'll be like, wow, this feels like a dream. This feels amazing and romantic and passionate. Sometimes it's like, okay, you're just getting back shots from some dude off Craigslist and just kind of like, oh, okay, cherry popped. I'm gonna go read webcomics now, and like you're totally unaffected or bored. Or maybe it's even traumatic for some people. I have met some people who have had that. But don't let it get in the way of any future relationships or sex, because trust me when I say you can always have better. Like, I've had some traumatic ass experiences myself, trust me, but the good thing is, over time, eventually you reclaim your body back and your power and your individuality in your life. And even if you're one of those people who's like, but what if I have sex and then I want it every day for the rest of my life and become a sex addict? I guess the best thing I can say is please try to make sure that you have a balance of other things that satisfy you. Like, for example, my period started this week, so I can't masturbate, or at least not, I can try. But simply put, it's like, okay, I can't just masturbate 24/7 now. I have to do other things like record videos, or write my script, or do a little bit of home cleaning, or some dancing and some movement. And then I felt like 10 times more satisfied than if I did just watching some girl get her titties sucked on the internet, you know? Also, it's kind of weird to me that virginity is shameful. If anything, I think of it as kind of cool, and I've even told people it's like, frankly, if you've managed to be a virgin this long, like by a choice, like I'm really impressed. You have a lot of discipline. Not a lot of people have discipline to be able to do what you have done. And then even they'll get embarrassed or whatever, but I'll be like, no, no, see, because you're saving yourself from like sex addiction or like STDs or pregnancy or a lot of risks or even just a bad time or getting attached to someone who could be really bad for you, or overly attached to someone who's good for you but getting to a scary level of attachment. So, I don't know, sex is not everything. Sometimes it feels like it is, but it's truly not. Like, you will be able to, like, fuck someone and then go home the next day and probably have more excitement about a new game that just got released on Nintendo and PS5 than you will be about the fact that you just got your dick wet. But I will say, blowjobs and oral sex usually almost always have, yeah. P and V, not exciting. Anal, exciting, but like not great. So don't be shocked if you don't like anal or receiving or giving. But blowjobs and oral sex, it's kind of hard to hate that unless you're the person giving it. But even then, anyway, I don't need to slide that in. No pun intended. I just felt like saying it. Blowjobs are 100% worth the highs. Cunnilingus, 100% worth it. Getting your nipples sucked of any gender, if I don't care your gender, get your nipples sucked. 100% worth it. I probably could have gone my whole fucking life a virgin. And I don't know, would I have been better off for it? I don't know. I did have to do some survival stuff when I was younger. And I'm glad I got that hymen popped by that stupid fucking idiot crackhead John. But I will say, otherwise, if I was not put in a situation of like intense despair, I probably could have went the whole rest of my life just not ever having sex and being a virgin and being 100% happy and fine. And like at most it's like a little heavy petting here or there and I would have been entirely satisfied. I don't know. So yeah, if you're a virgin, don't feel bad. If you're someone who lost their virginity and you're like, the first time wasn't that magical. It wasn't romantic, it wasn't magical. It was just a thing that happened. Don't worry. You can have a magical time again with someone else if you want. It's entirely achievable, trust me, because I've forgotten all about Crackhead John and I used to be obsessed with that man at some point. All because guess what? I meet dudes now where it's like, hey, spit strawberry milkshake into my fucking mouth, hit it from the back as I'm on my period. Let's play our favorite like EDM music and fuck to the beat. Let's look into each other's eyes romantically and like just have a fucking ball. You're gonna meet new people, you're gonna have new experiences. Not all of them are gonna be great, not all of them are gonna be terrible. But yeah, and sex is not everything. Don't let it be your end game everything. I'd say further on, virgin, not virgin, pure and pure as in like quotation marks if that wasn't obvious. Why would I say something like pure, oh, pure? Shut the fuck up. If you're someone who's chaste, sure, I guess that's a decent word I could use, or celibate. Or if you're someone who's a sex addict and fucks all the time, I'd say just make sure that you have a stable everything else so that you can enjoy sex in its healthiest, purest form and not even feel the need to like really need sex. Because, yeah, sometimes after sex, like, even if I did have a first time with somebody, like, sometimes it's like the sex was the most memorable thing. Sometimes it would be the fact that once after sex, a guy rolled over in bed and said, so you really haven't heard of Karl Marx? And then post virginity loss told me everything he could tell me about Karl Marx theory. That was extremely funny. Or sometimes it's like, hey, me and this dude fucked like animals. He was kind of neutral or kind of like not enjoying it at first, but then afterwards he had a fucking blast. We accidentally fucked for 6 hours straight. And now we're just having the blissful post sex experience of like, eating DoorDash Thai food and watching a movie together and cuddling. Like, yeah, funny enough. Like, whenever I've had sex with a dude for the first time, they usually get kind of confused and they're like, okay. Like, regardless of their stance, they're like, what happens now? And I'll be like, this is the fun part. And then we cuddle. And then they're like, cuddle? I get to cuddle now. It's like, yeah. And then they cuddle. And a lot of men don't get cuddled. And they'll be like, this is actually really fucking nice. Wow. And then that's the part that they remember. So, yeah, you could have good memories of your virginity experience, good ones, bad ones, mid ones, but don't worry, they're not going to be the first and they're not going to be the last, because even people who I cried over thinking, oh, I'm never going to have a dick that good again in my life, or oh, I'm not going to cuddle with them or do this with them or that with them again, it's okay. You can do that shit with other people who are better. And also, there's always going to be a better dick, better pussy, better body, even if it doesn't seem like it right now. Like, there's 8 billion people on this planet and we all have genitalia for the most part. Like, you're gonna meet amazing new people, like, not even better in terms of like, ooh, I need a bitch with an even bigger ass. You just might find new people you're attracted to, new things you like, people with amazing sparkling personalities and wonderful different bodies, nothing like the person you last experienced. And it doesn't mean that the person you last fucked was like repulses you now. It just means like, hey, you get to experience newness and just, I don't know, fully commit to having a life that is something you enjoy. Not too hedonistic, but not too afraid. And go into things with an open mind and maybe be a little realistic about it. The first time may suck, or it may be mid, or just neutral. It's okay. You're gonna have better. So, peace out.